Right now on the National Weather Desk, snow, rain, and wind taking their toll across the country. In Buffalo,
it is ugly right now on many of the streets.
Many roads are still snow-covered and the National Guard is coming to help. While out west,
we estimate about 4 to 5 inches inside the building at its highest point.
Heavy rain and powerful winds are taking a toll. Even a famed World Heritage Site isn't safe from flooding. Also, how you can better prepare for the next winter storm and getting a better understanding of ice flowers.
But it's something many folks don't notice.
Plus, a look back at the biggest weather stories of 2022.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Emily Gracie. We start this morning in Buffalo, where progress is being made clearing all that snow, but the city still has a ways to go. At least 33 deaths are now blamed on the storm, and while travel bans have now been lifted in Erie County, the ban remains in place in Buffalo. Abandoned cars hampered first responders from helping people in need. That's why the National Guard is now helping the city enforce the ban. But there is good news. As Kevin Jolly reports, some supermarkets have reopened and some people are able to get out.
With the travel ban downgraded to a travel advisory in most of Erie County, Amherst residents who were unable to drive for the past 4 days wasted no time hitting the roads.
It's one lane in a lot of ways, but are in a lot of roadways. Just go slow and be safe out there.
Town and county officials are still urging people to stay off the roads to make it easier for snow removal. Meantime, others took it as an opportunity to head to the grocery store to get some much-needed items.
It's just great to be out again after being, having cabin fever for 4 days.
As cleanup crews prepare to hit secondary streets, residents continue to clear the snow that smothered the region. Out-of-state utility crews also continue to help restore power to customers struggling with no heat or electricity. Meantime, here in the town of Amherst, a parking ban on town streets is also in effect while the snow removal effort continues.
The Buffalo Niagara International Airport is scheduled to reopen today at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's been closed since 1 o'clock Friday afternoon. We just checked. Most flights are still canceled, but a flight from Atlanta is scheduled to arrive around noon. A 140-mile stretch of the New York State Thruway reopened yesterday. It, too, had been closed since the storm began on Friday. The move was welcome news for people who wanted or needed to travel.
So, really, this is the third year that I've not been able to be with my family for Christmas. I have a twin sister in Toronto. My children all live in Canada and one in Hamilton. My mom's 95 in Bowmanville. We haven't been able to see her for Christmas or anyone in our family for 3 years now. So it's been tough.
The concern now, flooding. It will be in the 40s by tomorrow, and then the rain is in the forecast for much of the week. Residents are urged to clear snow and then check storm drains so that the water has somewhere to go. And on the West Coast, the problem this week is rain and wind. Lots of rain and wind, in fact. In Tacoma, Washington, a homeowner told our station there the problem started Tuesday morning. The driveway flooded along with his garage. The water was so high, a berm he used to stop the water from going inside the house didn't work. Down the street, another resident had 6 inches of water inside his home. This flooding was the result of a king tide in the Seattle area. Reporter Jackie Kent has more.
It went down quite a bit, but it was like, all this stuff was floating. It tipped over that bookshelf like that. My daughter's, my grandbaby's crib.
It only took a matter of minutes this morning for feet of water to flood Daniel Gammett's South Seattle basement. The king tide spilling into his neighborhood. It's like 3 feet deep in the basement. The washer and dryer, they're floating. My stand-up freezer, it's gone. It tipped it over. Our beds are floating. His home is among many off Kenyon and 8th, pumping out water. Families throwing away clothes and other water-damaged items.
Well, I'm not feeling good because I work hard, to pay the house, and now I don't know what I can do. All my house is wet inside.
Devastated neighbors watched as fire crews checked for electrical issues at this flooded building. Nearby, Rogers Machinery lost a day of work.
We estimate about 4 to 5 inches inside the building at its highest point, so we secured it, shut off all the power, and evacuated all the personnel.
Others scrambled to save cars from flooding and worry about future king tides causing more destruction.
All the storm drains in this area drain out into the Duwamish River, and once the river rises above the point where the drains are, then the river backs up through the drains. The water has nowhere to go.
Now to Oregon, where the storm is also causing big problems. 2 cars were stuck in flooded waters under I-5 Tuesday morning. You can see the water was almost to the top of their tires. Both drivers were trapped in their cars for at least a few hours, but appeared to be okay. Cars were trying to get around in the other lanes where it wasn't as deep. Strong winds that accompanied the storm brought down trees across Portland. Eric Mock has that part of the story.
We started in downtown Portland, where a large tree fell across Southwest Jefferson right next to the Portland Art Museum. Museum workers had to clear branches off of one of their sculptures. Don and Richard Ham-Kurcharski live just up the street from here and came to check it out.
We'd heard the wind, and it seemed like the South Park blocks had been pretty tough, like they are known to be, but that is not the case. I'm just glad the church wasn't hit, or anybody, or anyone's cars, or the beautiful art museum.
Then we continued heading southwest and found another tree down in a Southwest Portland church parking lot. Luckily, the church and the home next door seemed untouched. Finally, we found flooding and high water on roads in Tigard. Public Information Officer for Tigard Police says they're getting so inundated with calls, they need people to be more selective about calling 911 for weather damage.
High water that you want to report, traffic signals out, trees that are down where no one is hurt, those kind of things, please don't call 911, use the non-emergency number.
Heading further south now to California, where parts of the state have seen one of the wettest Decembers in recent memory. Sofia Laseos is in Fresno, where all that rain and snow are causing some big problems.
This December, the Central Valley has seen one of the wettest Christmas seasons in a while. Rain, snow, and winds up to 50 miles an hour all across California. According to the National Weather Service, Fresno's normal amount of precipitation in December is 1.45 inches. This month alone, Fresno has gotten 2.61 inches. That's almost double the normal amount. In the last 24 hours, China Peak has received almost 2 feet of snow. Mammoth Mountain is expecting to get upwards of 5 feet of snow in the next several days, according to its website. Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks had to close the general highways because of all that snow.
We had a fantastic base by Thanksgiving, and that doesn't happen more than about once a decade.
The lower elevations also saw quite a spectacle. Check the rush of this water along Willow Creek near Bass Lake Tuesday. But too much rain came down too fast for some systems to keep up. Take a look at Hazelwood Lane in Lemoore. And Fresno city crews scrambled to clear storm drains so all that water doesn't impact traffic more.
The stormy weather is what started the problems for Southwest Airlines, but at this point, most experts say the weather has nothing to do with the very slow recovery. This is the misery map showing delays and cancellations across the country. Southwest Airlines already canceled more than 2,500 flights. That's 90% of all cancellations in the U.S. It will take days to return to normal. The U.S. isn't the only place dealing with severe weather. Check out this video from Petra, Jordan. You can see all the water pouring down the walls. Tourists were evacuated after those heavy rains triggered flooding. And you may recognize the famed UNESCO World Heritage Site, as several scenes from the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade were filmed there. And here's something you don't see every day. A spider web left over from the summer collected snow near South Bend, Indiana. The photo highlights the incredible robustness of a spider's web. In fact, believe it or not, there's a feature of the silk that in a spider's web that localizes damage to a small section of the web, allowing them to survive even the fiercest of storms. Well, coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll take a look back at some of the biggest weather stories of the year. Plus, tips on how you can prepare for the next Arctic blast. And as we go to break, a look at Pennsylvania's Susquehanna River, where ice started to form following the weekend's bitter cold. But with warmer temperatures on the way, it may not last long. We'll be right back.